Hello historians, welcome to Decoding the Test and a quick look at the modern age. So much of the test is actually based in the modern age that I would love for you to know as many details as possible if you're going to get that higher level score. So the details that you see on the screen in front of you, I would know those if you want to make sure you get that highest possible score. However, in today's video, we're going to look at one of the areas in which the test has focused over and over and over again over the years when it comes to the modern age. Now, there's a lot of different categories when it comes to the modern age the test focuses on, but today we're going to look at Ronald Reagan's presidency. Now, Ronald Reagan is usually known as one of our best presidents. He looms large over modern American history, and he's usually regarded as the American president who presided over the end of the Cold War. Reagan is known as the guy that ends the Cold War. However, when you look at the test, Ronald Reagan is actually only lightly covered, and when he is covered, it's always on two things. One, his peace through strength policies, and two, the Iran-Contra Scandal. These are kind of some odd things to mention when it comes to Reagan. You keep expecting him to see his speech about bringing down the Berlin Wall. You keep expecting to see him and the American economy boosting, but you don't see that on the test. When you see Ronald Reagan, it's peace through strength and the Iran-Contra Scandal. So let's know those two things. Let's look at them. First, his peace through strength policy. Here you have a bunch of speakers, and this is something you see over and over again on the test. You get 4 speakers, and it's going to ask you which one is going to agree with something. In this case, which one of these speakers is going to agree with President Ronald Reagan's national security policies? His national security policies were known as peace through strength. His idea was actually to ratchet up hostilities during the Cold War. Nixon had brought them down during détente. Reagan is going to ratchet them up. He's going to spend more money on defense. He's going to force the Soviets to spend equal amounts of money keeping up because he didn't think they could. He thought the Soviet Union was on the point of breaking and that they would have to basically give in at some point. And he's right. Peace through strength was he ratcheted up the military. He ratcheted up defense spending with the idea that the Soviet Union could not keep up. Speaker 4. Increased defensive strength will discourage aggression by others. Peace through strength. That is the Ronald Reagan policy you should know. Now, the other thing from Ronald Reagan's terms that you should know is the Iran-Contra Scandal. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing to focus on. But what happened? During the presidency of Jimmy Carter, Americans at the American embassy in Iran were held hostage for over a year. On the day of Reagan's inaugural address, when Reagan becomes president, day 1, the hostages are released. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, in Nicaragua, in South America, there was a rebel group known as the Contras. Now, Ronald Reagan supported the Contras, but Congress did not. Congress didn't want to spend any money on the Contra rebels. So Congress said, we're going to cut military funding for the Contras. Did that mean Ronald Reagan didn't support the Contras anymore? No. He did, through a roundabout way. Ronald Reagan took weapons. He sold them in Iran to Iranians. So the people that had just took Americans hostage, he sold weapons to Iran. He used those funds to give to the Contra rebels. Hence the Iran-Contra Scandal. Congress said, let's not do that. Reagan's administration found a way to do it by dealing with a nation that America basically regarded as an enemy. The answer choice is A. They secretly sold weapons to Iran to raise funds to support the Contra rebels. This, of course, came out during the Reagan administration. You have a speech here where Ronald Reagan says, yeah, previously I said we did not trade arms for hostages. This brings up the idea that it wasn't just getting money for Contras, that there was some kind of deal that was worked out, that the hostages were going to be released if Reagan would sell these weapons when he did become president. So the Iran-Contra affair has a lot of different facets, and it's been tested a couple of different times, like with this question here. So what do you need to know about Ronald Reagan? I would know that he is the president that presides over the nation at the end of the Cold War. I would know that the economy is boosted during the Reagan presidency. But what is tested is, one, his peace through strength policy. The idea that he's going to ratchet up defense spending, and that's going to discourage the Soviet Union from aggression. And two, I would know the Iran-Contra Scandal. Congress says you can't support the Contra rebels in Nicaragua. The Reagan administration sells weapons to Iran in order to raise the money that Congress said you couldn't have to then give to the Contra rebels. If you understand those two things, you should be okay. If there's no questions, comments, or screams of angst, I will see you in the next video.